I'm deciding Lina now and waiting for her to come. Hi, everyone, for joining in. Welcome. Hi, Lina.
Hi, Krasimira. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? How are you
Yeah,
doing?
not too bad. Yeah, not bad. Can you see me okay? I just want to apologize to everyone for my cracked screen and the fuzzy view of my camera. I hope you can see me all right.
I see you okay. It's fine. It's
Brilliant. Cool. Where are you at the moment? Where are you speaking to us from today?
I'm just at home at the same place I've been in the past year. Same background. Everything is the same. Time has passed. And what about you?
I'm in London. I'm in my studio, which is at the Bomb Factory Arts Foundation. Yeah, and on this horrible April cold day. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. I can see loads of people are joining. Hi, Dylan, Lucy, hello, Sarko, Stani, loads of people. So welcome. I've actually had a bit of a break. When I say a bit, a 4-month-long break from Instagram. So this is lovely to come back to Instagram for this reason and to be using the platform in this way. So I guess whilst we're waiting for more people to join, I could just introduce the topic for our first Insta Live. Actually, do you want to say, because this was your idea, do you want to say a little bit about the series of the Insta Lives that we've just started?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the first, as Lena said, of the preceding for events that will happen in the future. Every 2 weeks, we will have different artists in conversation with someone from the collective, or we will have 2 members from the collective who will be in conversation together. The topics vary and they're very different. We decided that we will actually start by just introducing ourselves and the collective itself, and then we're going to move into talking to people from other collectives or magazines or artists about their practice. We just thought this could be an accessible way for people to join in and to listen. We'll keep these events quite short so that you can actually listen to them, despite the fact that we have been on screens for the past year and it's quite tiring now to go to Zoom events and stuff. So this event will be 20 minutes long, and then we'll have 10 minutes at the end for some questions. If you guys have questions, we can of course overrun, which I think is one of our best trends, to overrun events. So I think that's basically it, just the whole setup of what we have planned to do.
Brilliant. Okay, so I think we should start. It's 5 past and we've got a good amount of people. Cool. Okay, so can I ask you a question first? So I want to go back to January 2017 when we started Revolv, and to ask you what was happening in your life at the time. Where were you? What were you doing with your practice? And how did this idea of starting a collective come about?
Yeah, absolutely. So in January 2017, I was a student. I was doing a master's degree in photography in Portsmouth. And I was in a very small course. My cohort was only of a few people, less than 10. And I was really inspired, very motivated for the project that I was doing, for the ideas that I was having. But I was also very lonely. I felt quite disconnected because suddenly there were no peers almost. A lot of people have left the town. A lot of people have left the course from my BA course, I mean. And simultaneously, the work that I was doing, which I'm still doing 5 years later, I think, It's about Bulgaria. It's about the political violence and traumatic past of Bulgaria. So again, a topic very far away from, a British university in a small town, which is Portsmouth. So I think in many ways I felt quite disconnected, both within my practice to the location I was, and also in terms of like not having peers, not having people to talk to. And I think our friendship as well was like, flourishing back then, like just starting out. And and I think that was like a very moving force for me, because I was able to have someone to talk to, not just someone to talk to about my practice, which was super rare for that year, especially. Like it was rare to even speak about art and, develop some theories about photography in general with someone for me at that year, but also someone like you who shares the same, like, background, the same like home country as me, which I think was super like, beneficial for me and quite a moving force as well.
Yeah, no, I remember it like it was yesterday, us having these like conversations about you coming up with these contacts. I think it was through Facebook, and it was a new territory for you. And I felt like those conversations and sharing that excitement is kind of what drove both of our works, because at the time I feel like I was also finding my feet and my practice. I had graduated in 2015, so that's like a year and a half out of uni. I had started artist residency at Ashford School, and for the first time I had a studio, a space, the time, access to facilities, but exactly what you said, kind of like nobody directly to discuss, what you're making. And yeah, I feel like our friendship. So we met just before I left Portsmouth Uni, which was crazy because we'd been in different years and different. What's the word? Yeah, you were the year below me, so I think that was the start of a really good collaboration and exchange of interests, really. And I guess we just wanted to make it official, open it up to more people, because we found that was this feeling of disconnection to industry, to other artists, is such a common thing. Everybody's experiencing that, and that was our kind of outlet, the way of dealing with that. Okay, cool. And then I guess, but my other question on the back of that is how did that change or influence your practice or the way you did things? The fact that we were now standing behind this name. There was like a title. It wasn't just, Krasimira and Lina. It was actually Krasimira and Lina from Revolv Collective. So how did that impact your work?
I think that probably there are a lot of ways of impact that took place. One, the networking, the people that we would meet, but I think just my first thought is actually of how when you go to university and you study photography, I wouldn't say art because I've studied just photography, you gain this idea of, as we've many times spoken about, the art is genius, and how you're the maker, you're the producer, you're the photographer, you're the creator, you're the writer, you are everything, and you work alone because you get a lineup of artists from the past who have all presumably done this. So when you're at university, you don't really get offered the chance that doing a photography degree or an art degree could mean that, you know, you could just spend time looking at the photographs and never take a single one, or you could spend time writing about images and again never take one of yours. And how there's so many possibilities behind, like photography, for example, which are beyond the photographer or the maker of the images. And even the one that creates the work at the end is, for me, and I know for you as well, it's not one person doing the project. It's always the people involved. It's even the people who would print your work. Like, there's so many people involved in the project that you do. Even if you're taking self-portraiture, right? It's the conversations that you have with your mates, or, you know, with your parents or with whoever. So I think Revolv made me, you know, kind of naturally, maybe unconsciously, experience this, and of course realize it consequently as like a result, to experience the fact that, and even working with you, and working with you on a topic or a subject that's common, hasn't meant that, you know, we're doing the same work together and, you know, pressing the shutter speed in the same time. It just means that we talk and we just exchange ideas, but everyone just does their own thing, their own way of seeing. And at the end of the day, I think, and also as well, alongside this, a lot of the topics of workshops we've done and in general has been around this obliteration of authorship, and that there is no authorship. What is even like, why are even, you know, who believes in authorship? Like, I don't. So yeah, I don't know if that even answers. I just went on a spree here.
No, totally. And it just made me think of a few points. I guess, yes, this awareness that there is more to a practice than literally just creating work. So the idea of the practitioner as a producer of events, symposiums, workshops, whatever. The idea of the artist as a curator, as an educator, you know, sharing our interests and passions on a topic, but also, I guess, knowledge that we've gained through practical work. And what you said about, you know, nobody teaches you those things at uni, so everything that we have done has been learned from scratch and through doing these things, not because it's felt right, it's felt that is the natural thing that needs to be done. So I think, yeah, this kind of DIY culture has really been important in, giving me certainly the confidence, the belief in myself, in my own practice, in what I do and stand for, and opening it up to the wider public. For example, when we did Homeland, which was a open call for photographers and writers on the theme of Homeland, and that came from an exhibition that we did for Brighton Photo Fringe in 2018 at the Collectives Hub, and on the back of the exhibition we did a workshop, a public workshop. So literally 5 people off the street came, and they'd brought in personal objects and things. So what I'm trying to say is that the collective giving you the platform, the power, the exposure to extend those conversations and those initial ideas that you have with yourself and with your friends, as you say. But yeah, making the context wider, contextualizing them, and bringing in all these other strands and making it accessible. So yeah, again, also I feel like I've gone on a tangent. By the way, I just wanted to say that we are going to take questions at the end, but if any questions come up as we're speaking, please, guys, feel free to put them in the comments, or just make a note as we're speaking.
Yeah, I think that's good thing to see. Good note. But in terms of what you were saying, just to like give a little bit more context to what you said, So this exhibition in Brighton Fort Fringe, where it started from, where this book started from, was actually about a personal experience that we both experienced. So it was about our own separate, personal, very different migration to the UK, and our family's migration to the UK as well. And it was like, you know, this very common experience, I think, of belonging, not belonging. How does your identity is formed? Where do you belong? Do you belong back home? And where is home really? So we were in this conversation, and I think it was, of course, also the fact that this was very Brexit, like, you know, infused, very fresh to this complete nonsense that was happening. So I think we were in this conversation for like much longer than we would start to make the work. And then these ideas, these feelings materialized, as said, in a show, but also in a workshop. And then they went into a separate book in which we don't have our own work. So we actually curated work about the home by people who live across, you know, different countries, and whose work is very, very different. Like, it's, you know, so I think in essence, I think we are also super interested in curating work and, you know, making these connections between people's work in the format of a book, in the format of an exhibition, and somehow, you know, having your own perception or perspective alongside, you know, alongside this.
And absolutely, and in a way, it becomes community work. It becomes a community project, and which then gives it much of a higher importance, I guess. But just because I'm conscious of the time, it's 18 past. I just wanted to ask you about what do you feel like is your biggest achievement to date as a result of this experience of running a collective now, from starting it with the just initially the two of us, and now there's 7 of us. It's like our growing baby. How do you feel like that's impacted your work? What's your biggest achievement?
Oh, that's super existential question. Before I answer it, or I'll try to answer it around, I'll say that maybe a really big achievement is, you know, being in this collective in general, lasting for so long, and meeting other people, and just these contacts that you make, because I think that's especially, like, that's just a side note, but at the moment I'm writing this text for a book, and just the title of a part of the text, I think it's quite relevant here. And the title is My Research is Other People. And I think my practice is other people as well. Whatever I do, it's other people that help me do it through very various forms. And without other people, I'm like lost, completely no one. Like, collective won't run, I won't run, you know, I can't function. So I think maybe my biggest achievement is that I know really nice people, and that they're really, you know, great, like supporters and friends, and a part of this collective. But the other big achievement, which could probably link more to the collective and to my practice, is this workshop I led in Bulgaria in 2019. I worked with a group of students who were from different years in school or university. And what was interesting was that none of them have done photography in their life. Like, you know, they've done photography with their phone, but they didn't study photography. They weren't people who would go to shows and so on. And it was very, very interesting to work with people who would go into, you know, this category almost. And we worked together over a week. We spent time in this town on the Danube River, adjacent to a forced labor camp, which is what I explore in my own practice. And I led a workshop, a 1 week long workshop with them, in which they made a book with me, and they wrote and they took photographs. And this was something we did with Revolv many times prior, in universities, in galleries, a part of our own exhibitions, a part of invitations. But I feel like I would keep it as the biggest achievement because of how linked it was to my work, and what kind of an experience this was with these absolute strangers for a week. It was just, I think super interesting. What about you?
What about me? Well, I feel like, yeah, Revolv is a huge part of my practice, and has, well, becomes more and more prominent in my practice. Something that I feel like has rubbed off is working with my students and artists, I guess, gaining the confidence to create collaborative work with a local community, which if somebody told me that I would be doing that 5 years ago, I wouldn't believe them, because I probably wouldn't even recognize that as my work. So what I started doing during the first lockdown in April 2020 was to send coated paper with cyanotype solution and asking artists, non-artist friends, and my students to create a print. So this kind of a gesture, a sharing of this love for the medium, and getting people who, as you said, would have never had the opportunity to work in that way. So my students are 11 to 18 years of age, and the photography to them is Instagram and TikTok and all that. And so for them to create an object, a photograph on paper, an object, is I think really, really important. But yeah, as you say, I wouldn't have done that had I not done all this other work, previous work, as part of the collective. So and I think an inspiration for that, just to kind of end my answer, would be a duo of artists, Christo and Jean-Claude, whose work is installation based, and for that to happen, they need the loads of people on board to be able to make it happen. Loads of communities, governments, countries, and nations, and yeah. So I think ultimately it becomes about accessibility, making art and photography more accessible to anyone, but also creating these opportunities to emerging artists and people like us, which are so difficult to come by if you are practicing as a sole genius artist on your own. I think, can you see questions? Do you know if there are any questions?
We've never done an Instagram live, guys, so we're like a bit, not so tech savvy. But I see.
I'm scrolling through.
I don't think there are any questions. I think
there are no questions. That's good.
Or actually, there are.
Oh, are they?
Okay. So, I don't know. I mean.
Oh, I can see Victoria. It's so nice to hear you. Oh, thank you, Victoria, for being here. Oh, we've got a question. Can anyone join the collective? Okay, so I can start, and you can kind of fill in anything that I miss out. So, how the admission to the collective happens is really, really natural. For example, Ibi Azab, who is sitting opposite me, and Lucas Gabellini-Fava joined the collective in, was it 2018?
2019?
2018 or 2019? I can't.
I think it was January 2019.
Delayed.
Don't worry.
What was it?
When did you join?
Year after I graduated, 2018.
2018. So how they joined was really naturally. Ibi sent us an email saying that he's been following us for a while, and Tom Lovelace was his tutor, and had kind of recommended us to him as people to work with, and it was yeah, just a really natural way of joining, just through meeting up with him at at a show, I think, and kind of straight away initially just clicking and realizing that yes, we share the same values, we share the same passion. I think that is kind of the most important thing, having a real passion for this and doing it because you really care about it. So that was how these guys joined. And then Alexander Morant, Victoria Doyle, and Laura Bivalaros, they all joined because we'd already collaborated with them in different projects in different ways, and it was about extending that collaboration, realizing that, you know, I want to work with you guys. I value what you stand for in your practices, and we want to extend that in future projects. So I guess the simple answer to that question, yes, anyone can join the collective if you tick those boxes. Would you like to add anything to that?
No, I just saw more questions coming, so I'm just gonna start to pick them up because they will disappear. I think so. Next exhibition. We don't know when the next exhibition because I think the world is a nightmare, but we are now starting to work on creating like digital programs like this one, like events on Instagram. Also, we are going to start putting like articles on the websites about different artists and interviews. And we have like quite a lot of ideas of how to extend our life in the digital because we don't know when we will even have the opportunity to have an exhibition at all. And then I'm just going to start this question and you can also answer them. What is the main aim of the collective? So the main aim of the collective, I think we started out of frustration that we didn't know how to get into the industry. We didn't know what is the industry. No one taught us anything about the industry. So we were like, you know, we can continue to apply for this open course, but is that how you get in? Like we almost believed, or, you know, not believed, but expected maybe to get like guidelines or, you know, some kind of a path of how to get there. It doesn't exist, by the way, like hint. So we were like, yeah, let's, you know, we can try to, you know, make it there with our own selves by organizing exhibitions, events, but also making the space, very importantly, for others to also make it there, wherever there is. And now I think this has extended because we've also developed as practitioners, as like educators, facilitators, and so on, to the fact that we are now very interested in creating. And I think we were interested in that ever like we started, but we didn't actually recognize it. Now I think it's more prominent that we're really interested in creating ways of, you know, producing photography, new ways of thinking about photography, new methodologies. So all of the workshops we do, we come up with, you know, the methodologies that are going to be applied in the workshop and the different exercises, which is in a way an extension of this.
So I think also another aim is to share, to share in a non-hierarchical way. So teaching, but not in the institutional way, but learning together through doing, through experience and through practice. That is also a big aim. But in terms of just going back to the previous question about an exhibition, I think, yeah, that is something that we'd all, the 7 of us, would love to have an exhibition together, because since there are 7 members in the collective, we haven't shown our works together. So that would be amazing to do in the future. So yeah, I guess keep your eyes peeled. And how have you found it sustaining the collective through the various lockdowns and not being able to hold physical events? This is kind of where my idea came from, of sending cyanotype paper through the post, because for me it was about keeping in touch with my network, but also my friends and my students through this time where everything was screen based. So through touch, through getting this piece of paper through your post, for me that was that was a physical way around putting pictures up on the wall and being in the same space together, because everyone was doing a cyanotype print almost like in the same period of time. So we were all going through the same experience, but just doing it in our own environments, in our own spaces. The other thing that we did was a publication called Exquisite Futures. I'm just gonna grab a copy, which was a publication of collages that we got people to, we created an open call and asked artists to respond to their kind of experience of the lockdowns by creating physical work and working with physical objects, images, and so on. And that project lasted from April till December. And I worked with Victoria Kiefer, our designer, who is based in France, a new collaboration with Folium Publishing, who we hadn't worked with in the past. In the end, made this book, a physical outcome, which features 20 artists and obviously the designers and the printers. So yeah, I can't say it's been easy, but it's been I've enjoyed the challenge of overcoming these difficulties that the lockdowns have kind of made us face.
Yeah, definitely. I think my answer would have been that we have found it fucking difficult to do, as everyone else. Like, I'm just honest, you know. And yeah, Exquisite Features, I think, was like one of the things that Lina led and organized. And she got a little bit of help from us, but it was mainly her project within the collective's like work. And I think, yeah, as I said, we are planning these digital events and like a program for the website and in general. So I think that is a way to sustain the collective as well by like
one more thing. Sorry to interrupt. One more thing I think is using this time to plan ahead and to apply for funding. So in the last 4 months, I submitted my first Arts Council application for a personal project, but the process had taught me so much that the next step for me is to apply that knowledge and that experience for a funding application for the collective, because what we've learned through the time is that there's only so much you can do for free or just in your own time. There comes a point where you kind of exhaust all your resources and have achieved a certain level of reach and a name. So yeah, that is something that I'm really looking forward to in the future. Hopefully, fingers crossed, getting funding and making physical exhibitions happen when that is possible, and being able to commission new work and pay people for making that work, which I think also kind of extends this idea of what are our aims as a collective, to create more opportunities. Are there any questions that we haven't?
We can just answer quick and wrap it up, but how do we share work with you? So yes, as I said, just keep your eyes like peeled on the account. We're actually gonna put some things in the very near future, very few like near days, regarding things that you could share with us or ways. And yeah, Simona has said that our experience is very similar, and if not identical with the majority of photography students. I think that's yeah, unfortunately true, I suppose. And I think probably art students in general, with the fact that, you know, just the experience of university and then the experience of being alone after university. And have you got any new open calls coming up? So We will put something up in the next few days, I think, or week, and we hope, as Lina started to talk about her applying for funding for her own practice, we have also put an application for funding together for the collective, and hopefully we will be able to launch some new open calls and be able to pay people, because we really want to pay people. We don't want to be a part of this over-exploitative industry where you work for exposure, not for real money. So hopefully we will have some open calls coming up soon as well. And I think that's, yeah, all of the questions that I get, that I can see.
Yes, I can't see any more. Brilliant. Okay. Well, we've overrun a little bit, but yes, fingers crossed, Alex. Sorry, just to say, Alex was the one to finalize and write up the application that we submitted as a collective. So thank you, Alex, and thank you to all the followers, everyone who's been supporting us in the past 3 years, to all of the collectives, all the institutions that invite us to share our practice and our experience. Yeah, just everyone that you know, without you, we wouldn't be here today. So thank you. Thank you for joining us today. It's really nice to chat to you, Kras, and see your face and hear your voice. Take care, everyone. Stay safe, and hopefully we can see each other in person really, really soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Just before we leave, like the next live will happen on the 22nd. Oh my God, where are my words? 22nd of April, and it would be with Ibi. He would be talking to Ezra Evans about collective like practices and learning through collaboration. So to be same like day. So to be again a Thursday, same time here. So join the next talk, and yeah, thanks from me as well to everyone who has supported us in the past years. This means the world to us, and yeah, see you soon, hopefully in real life, both you, Lina, and everyone who's watching and listening.
Thanks, guys. See you. Bye.
Bye.